Is Adam Gorney. National Signing Day coverage continues with Michigan State's coach Jonathan Smith. And before we get into football stuff, Jonathan, I wanted to talk to you about the fires in Southern California. We're down here. We're about 10 miles from the Palisades fire here in Playa Vista. You grew up by the Altadena fires. I just wanted to kind of get your feelings on it, just being afar from it, and any friends or family, childhood home, all that kind of stuff that was impacted by it.
Yeah, it's pretty devastating because you're right. Altadena, grew up in the Pasadena, Glendora area, and so I did not have family directly impacted, but we're pretty close to the fires. Do have some friends that have lost some things. I actually got the opportunity this last weekend because I was now watching Michigan State basketball against USC and UCLA to be able to go around and see a little bit of it. A tough situation. We're definitely with the people of really generally Southern California, not just particular to one fire or the other. So many impacted, and we want to be here and be part of helping out.
With what happened to Coach Izzo down here, are you hesitant to bring your football team to Southern California for games? Not to be a sore subject here.
Yeah, this league is just so competitive. And then, you throw in this travel part, and there's good teams on both sides of the country. And we get the opportunity. We're going to play in the Coliseum the end of September, open up Big Ten play for us. And that'll be a challenge in itself, just playing those guys. But I'll tell you this, Coach Izzo, he knows what he's doing. He's got that team playing pretty well. And basketball is a long season. I know they'll bounce back pretty quickly.
Let's talk Aidan Chiles a little bit. They're obviously a super talented kid, just kind of getting his feet wet in the Big Ten. As a quarterback yourself, just kind of looking at his stats a little, maybe some decision making, how do you kind of mentor him through this so he still has that confidence that he can make that big throw, but also isn't just kind of holding it back so he doesn't throw a pick?
Yeah, you don't want a guy out there just worried about making mistakes. And I give Aidan a lot of credit. I think he pushed through that season because there was definitely some ups and downs. Even statistically, you look at his first 6 games compared to his last 6, the stats are way better at the end of the year. And so we got to do our part in regarding to, help him continue to develop. We got to do better around him in regards to whether we're talking the scheme, players. There's 11 guys on the offensive side. And so we want to make sure the other 10 are taking a step, confident that can take place. All that experience Aidan gained. The offensive side, we've got a lot of good players coming back on that side to do it better in year 2.
Let's talk a little recruiting. Running back Jay Clarisio is from East Lansing. That certainly helps. But he was committed to Alabama. I mean, it's hard to kind of get something like that back. How did that work in the final weeks to kind of convince him that, staying home, being a running back at Michigan State is a very big deal, and he could be that next guy in line?
Yeah, that's some of the messages we had. And what we did, we just continued to compete. There's a signing date for a reason. You compete up to that signing date. We felt like we had built a great relationship with him and the family. And so throughout that time, we just continued, felt like we built some trust, echoed the message of the opportunity here and what he could do in a special place that is home for him. And at the end of the day, he felt like that was the best choice for him. We're excited. He'd been here now almost a month, getting started, along with about 11 other freshmen. But getting Jace to be local and the type of player and person he is, we feel awesome having him.
I want to ask you about portal and your philosophy on it. Some guys, I think we know the schools that basically flip their roster every year. You seem to be a little more measured with development through high school and then portal guys maybe at need. Is that kind of the lane you're taking, or does it really depend year by year?
The lane we're going to try to build this roster inside out in regards to location. And then, yes, we want to be majority in the high school level recruiting so they can work and develop. At the same time, you can supplement your roster through the portal, and we're going to be in that kind of game as well. That's a little bit year by year. A position group you might need a more immediate help type thing that you try to chase, but we still want to be getting a good amount of high school players in here that can work and develop and stay in our program for a long time.
Last thing, and I think this is an interesting topic. We talked a little bit offline about it. Nebraska coach Matt Rule has basically said there won't be a spring game, or he's kind of hesitant about having one. One of the reasons is because, his players are being seen by every other school. And so now spring ball is over and there's another portal window. We could discuss if those portal windows are appropriately timed through the calendar. How do you kind of see that? And like you said, it also opens it up to injuries and all kinds of other things in terms of a spring game, but also kind of giving your community a kind of a sneak peek of what's coming in the fall.
Right. We're just kind of relook at what, spring ball and what we're trying to get accomplished there. And there's multiple considerations. Yes. One being a spring game that goes on TV to be able to showcase your program, but it does showcase your players and the development they've had. And then the portal is going to open right after that. And so that's something you think about, the injury side, especially when you look at potentially a roster needing to be at 105 guys and what that looks like. So how much you're practicing, what kind of risk, because there is a little bit of risk when you do a scrimmage, live tackle and all those things. That's a consideration. One thing we do want to make sure too, we can engage with our fan base and have something to interact with them. And so we're taking a look at it. Nothing's been final decided on what our finals kind of spring, call it a scrimmage practice, will look like, but we're considering all those things.
Yeah. And I want to tell everybody watching this, Jonathan was about 5 minutes early, which we appreciate here, and we give you a ton of credit for it. So thanks for coming on again. I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's always great, Jan. Thanks.
All right, take care.